Hey guys, thanks for joining me on this video looking into how I personally organize my images both on my hard drives as well as in Lightroom. If you're looking for more information, I just published a two-part blog series on file management for photographers, although a lot of the information, especially in part one on backups and data protection, will be quite valuable to anybody who works with large amounts of data. And you can find both of those at silenteraphotography.com/blog. And I'll put the links to the specific videos in the description beneath the video as well. Okay, so here on my desktop, we've got my main photography and design external hard drive. So let's jump into there. And what we're going to look into first is folder structure. And this is something that anybody can use, even if you're not using Lightroom to organize your photos or some other kind of software organizer. And it can make it a lot easier to locate specific folders or events rather than having, a whole series of folders just named with the date of import onto your computer, which could be a nightmare. Okay, so inside my photos folder, you'll see I've got some of the folders arranged by date, and inside of the year folders, I have broken it down into monthly folders as well. And then I generally want to get even more specific than that. So within the monthly folders, I'm going to have specific shoots, locations, things like that, so that it can be even easier there. So we can go into this specific Boundary Bay folder, and here's where I import all my raw files to. So there we go. Besides organizing by date, in some cases, I also like to organize by subject or some other parameter. So specifically, I have a travel folder, and here I have individual trips that I've taken. And I like to have a specific travel folder that's separate from the dates because often longer trips will overlap, months or years even. And I want to have all my photos from Asia or the Balkans or my cycle trip or the Pacific Northwest trip last fall. I want to have all those together in one place, not ranging over months in my other folders up here. And then generally within those, I will break those down further. And so you can see here, I've got a folder for each country. And I don't think in any of these I did, but sometimes if I was in one country even for a long period of time, I might break that down even further into distinct regions or events or things like that. Okay, so now that we've looked at the folder structure on my hard drive, we're in Lightroom here, and the first thing you're going to notice is that that folder structure is replicated right here, and it's actually reading directly off of the hard drive. So one thing to note is that if you do want to make any changes to any of your folders, moving files around, changing where your images are located, let's say I wanted to take this image here and move it into a new folder. And I could create a new folder here with a different title or move it into an already existing folder. You want to do that inside of Lightroom, and that will mirror the change on your hard drive. The reason you want to do that is if you move it on your hard drive, Lightroom is not going to recognize the changes that you've made. And so you're going to need to go into Lightroom. The file is going to be missing. There'll be an alert. It won't load. And you're going to need to point Lightroom in the direction of where the photo is now. And so it saves you a lot of time if you do that inside of Lightroom. And that's a lot easier. And so you can see here, we're in the 2016 March Boundary Bay, same folder, everything here, the images that were on the hard drive. And here are my other folders that we looked at before. There's the travel, all the same folders. So one of the first things I like to do when I import a new set of photos is to go through and flag the ones that I want to keep using the P button to mark it as a pick. And you can see flag as pick, and then there's a little icon in the top corner that shows that it's flagged. So usually I'll do this in full screen, and I will go through. I'll say I want to keep this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, let's say. You can also flag them as rejected photos by hitting X, and that's got a little black flag there you can see, and it grays it out. So if you want to go through that way and flag the ones that you want to delete rather than choosing the ones you want to keep, you can do that. I find when I do that, I end up with a lot more photos remaining, even though a lot of them I'm probably never going to do anything with. So I've started to flag with the ones I want to keep and delete everything else. If you want to reset either of those to no flag, you can just hit the U for unmarked. Okay, so I flagged a few photos here. Let's say I want to look at just those photos that I flagged, filter those. We can go down to the filter bar here, and we can click on the leftmost flag there, which is the pics. And you can see here are the 6 photos that I've picked. If I want to see just the unmarked photos, there's the middle one there, unflagged. And on the right is the rejected photos, which I didn't mark any. So usually what I'll do, I have my pics here. So in this scenario, I'm saying these are the images I want to keep, and everything else I'm okay with deleting. So these ones I want to keep, so I want to view all the other ones that I haven't flagged. So that's that middle one. And then generally I will go into grid, select all, and I would hit delete. Now I don't actually want to do this right now, but that's what I would do in a normal import after I've flagged all my pics. The next thing that I'll do after I've gone through my pics, here I've got them, is I will use a rating system, the star rating system, to determine the priority of where I want to edit them. So usually when I first get them in, once I've sorted them all, I'll select them all and hit the number 1, set the rating to 1. And so that just tells me that these are all the photos that I have gone through and sorted, and I don't need to sort them again and delete any. And so then what I'll do, once I have these ones all here flagged and marked as a 1 star, is I'll go through, and usually I'll do once through selecting with a 3-star rating, selecting which ones are, the keepers. So let's say, for example, this one, and this one. Then I'm going to do another go through, and here I'm changing the filter based on the star rating as well as the flag. So you can combine all these rating systems and do it that way and get really specific. And then I'm going to go through once more, and looks like we actually got an extra couple of photos in there that were already flagged, but we'll just keep going with this. And then I'm going to go through once more with a 4-star, and let's say I like this one, and let's go with this one. Those are both rated 4 stars. So these are the images that are I most want to edit immediately or before any of the others. Another way you can mark your images to sort them is through the color labeling. And so you can go up to photo and go down to set color label. And you'll see here are a few options of colors you can mark them. And so we've got red, yellow, green, blue, purple. And the default is no color label. And the shortcuts are 6, 7, 8, 9. Purple does not have a shortcut for whatever reason, but you can select it in the menu. And so I don't use these as much as some people do. I'm kind of looking for a way to incorporate them into my workflow. So if you have any ideas, let me know. But so far I haven't found anything super useful. But usually what I will use red for if I have edited a photo in Lightroom and then taken it into Photoshop for further editing and then brought it back. The original Lightroom copy I will mark as red so that I know that that is the one that has since gone into Photoshop and there is a newer updated version of it in my library. But most of the others I don't use that much. And so there you have that, and you can sort by that as well with down here on the filter bar. All right, so after you've edited your photos, you can do this at any time, but I like to do it after I've edited them. You can tag your photos with keywords, and this is another way to quickly be able to find them in your library. Probably one of the best ways, if not the best way, to locate specific images or themes of images. And so for this one, I would say maybe Boundary Bay, where it was shot. And I would say eagle, maybe bald eagle, if I want to get more specific. Maybe wildlife. And maybe I'll also do bird. All right, and so now by doing this, I'll be able to search any of these terms, and any images tagged with any of these keywords will come up with what I search. And so to do that, we go into Grid, and you'll see up here on the top there's another filter bar. We go over to Text, and I can go, let's say, all my 2016 photos so far. Something you need to remember is that when you're searching here, it's only searching whichever folder you're on over here. So if you want to do all your photos in your whole library, you can go up here to all photographs. But for right now, we're just going to search 2016. And what I want to search for here is eagle. And as you can see, the image that I tagged with eagle now comes up here. And so once I get through editing that whole batch, there's probably going to be a bunch of images with eagles, bald eagles. So those are all going to show up here. But right now, this is the only one I've tagged, so that's the only one that's coming up. And this is really one of the best ways to find images in your library. So if we even go to all photographs here, this is everything on this hard drive. I can go to text and let's see, what do I want to search for? Maybe mountains. And here's all my images with mountains. Although I probably need to go through and tag a bunch more and update the tags on those, because I think I should have some more mountain images than that. Okay, so another way that you can really narrow down your searching is by combining the keyword with another filter. So we can combine a keyword with the flag status or the star rating or a color label. Let's try something else here. Let's go to travel. So these are all my travel images. And as you can see down here, there's 14,000, which is a lot to go through and try to find a specific photo. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to go down to 5-star. So that limits it to all my 5-star images, which are, for me, all the images that I've edited already. So here we have all my edited travel images. And let me tell you, I am way behind from the past couple of years of traveling and editing my images. So I've got a lot to catch up on. But let's say this is too broad. I want to get even more specific. I can add another keyword in here as well. So I can separate it by a comma. And let's say I want to look for travel images from Vietnam. There we go. So here we have all my edited images that have both the keyword travel and Vietnam. And you can also narrow that down with the color labels, which, as I mentioned, I don't make use of that much. But to other people, they could be really useful as well. All right, well, I hope you were able to take something from this short video. Like I mentioned before, if you're interested in reading some more on my system for managing images and backing up my data and how I sort all that stuff out, you can check it out on my blog, silenteraphotography.com/blog. And again, I'll have the link for each of the individual posts in the description beneath the video. All right, have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed large amounts of data. And you can find both of those at silenteraphotography.com/blog. And I'll put the links to the specific videos in the description beneath the video as well. Okay, so here on my desktop, we've got my main photography and design external hard drive. So let's jump into there. And what we're going to look into first is folder structure. And this is something that anybody can use, even if you're not using Lightroom to organize your photos or some other kind of software organizer. And it can make it a lot easier to locate specific folders or events rather than having, a whole series of folders just named with the date of import onto your computer, which could be a nightmare. Okay, so inside my photos folder, you'll see I've got some of the folders arranged by date. Hey guys, thanks for joining me on this video looking into how I personally organize my images both on my hard drives as well as in Lightroom. If you're looking for more information, I just published a 2-part blog series on file management for photographers, although a lot of the information, especially in part 1 on backups and data protection, will be quite valuable to anybody who works with. And inside of the year folders, I have broken it down into monthly folders as well. And then I generally want to get even more specific than that. So within the monthly folders, I'm going to have specific shoots, locations, things like that, so that it can be even easier there. So we can go into this specific Boundary Bay folder, and here's where I import all my raw files to. So there we go. Besides organizing by date, in some cases, I also like to organize by subject or some other parameter. So specifically, I have a travel folder, and here I have individual trips that I've taken. And I like to have a specific travel folder that's separate from the dates, because often longer trips will overlap, months or years even. And